Mexican Train Dominoes is a 2 to 8 player game where players try to lay down all of their dominoes first and score the least number of points. The game starts with all of the dominoes shuffled and face down on the table. Then, players simultaneously flip the dominoes over and try to be the first one to find the double 12 tile, which is the starting tile. Whoever finds the double 12 tile places the tile in the center and goes first. This tile is the engine of the train. The rest of the tiles are flipped face down. The face down pool of tiles is called the boneyard. Next, every player draws tiles for their hand. For a 2 to 4 player game, each player gets 15 tiles. For a 5 to 6 player game, each player gets 12 tiles. For a 7 to 8 player game, each player gets 10 tiles. Players stand the tiles in their hand up on their side so they can see the faces of their tiles, but the other players can't. Now, the first player takes their turn. On a player's first turn, they must play a tile off of the engine tile to start their train. The end of the tile they play that's adjacent to the engine must have 12 dots to match the end of the engine. The player can continue playing tiles off of their train in a single chain as long as the end of each tile they're playing matches the adjacent end it's played off of. If a player isn't able to play any tiles on their turn, they draw a tile from the boneyard. If they're able to play the tile they drew, they play it on their train. If they're not able to play the tile they drew, they must place a marker, like a coin, on the last tile in their train to signify that it's open. Any player can play on an open train, regardless of whose train it is. A player's train stays open until they're able to play a tile on it. After the first round, players are only allowed to play one tile per turn on subsequent turns. However, if a player plays a double tile, they get an extra turn, but they must play off of the double. If they're not able to play off of the double, they draw a tile from the boneyard. If they can't play the tile they drew, they mark their train as open.
If a double tile is left open, it must be played off of by one of the other players on their turn.
Players cannot play off of any other tile if there is an open double on the table. Once the double tile has been played off of, then players can continue playing tiles
off of their own train. During each round, one player can play a 12 domino off of the engine on their turn to start an extra train,
called the Mexican Train. The Mexican Train can only be started after every player has taken their first turn. The Mexican Train is marked and can be played off of by any player throughout the round. Play continues until one player gets rid of all of the tiles in their hand. Then, the rest of the players add up the total value of the dominoes left in their hand and add that to their score. Whoever has the least number of points after 13 rounds wins the game.